you know it's Pantene.
Celebrate America's men and women of service November 5th at Clausen Motorsports. Join KSEE 24 and great local partners at the 4th Annual Veterans Motorcycle Run. Ride to protect the sacrifices made for our country and our freedom.
Local news that matters. This is KSEE 24 News Sunrise.
Coming up on Sunrise, violent threats against lawmakers continue ahead of the midterms. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill now giving their reaction on the recent violent attack against House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul.
Plus, 2 Americans among those killed in a stampede during Halloween festivities in Seoul, South Korea. What officials are now investigating.
Good morning and happy Halloween. I'm Brody Logan.
And I'm Caroline Collins. Thank you for waking up with us on this spooky Monday morning. It is 6:01 a.m. and people getting ready to go trick-or-treating, dress up for Halloween.
Did something happen this morning?
I just had a coughing fit. That was pretty spooky.
Maybe it was the ghost that we have haunting this studio.
Exactly.
Ruben Gutierrez has a look at the forecast that has some spooky weather in the forecast.
Dude, and I thought I saw a ghost this morning wandering the hallways when I got here, but it was just Gabe Salazar. I was like, whoa, he's a person. We've got Halloween weather out there, and it's going to be a little spooky out there. Just some clouds. We're not expecting any rain, so good news for trick-or-treaters for tonight. That's actually going to be kind of mild for this time of year in the afternoon. 75 the forecast high in Fresno. Average is about 72, and we're in the 40s and 50s this morning, so it's a little chilly out there. Not as cold as the past few mornings, but still cold enough for a sweater or jacket as you head out the door. 70s for Madera, Mendota, Hanford. Up in the Sierra, we have 60s for Yosemite, low 60s in Shaver, where it's 31 degrees now, and 70s in Oakhurst. We are talking about a little bit of rain for the valley tomorrow and some snow in the Sierra. We'll go over the timing of that in a few minutes, but first for now, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Ruben. Well, this morning we have reaction from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle on the violent attack against House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Our Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson is joining us now live from D.C. with more. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Both Democrats and Republicans say the political rhetoric must be lowered with just 8 days until the midterm elections. They both say it's okay to disagree on policy, but there's no need for violence.
All right, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties with Rashad Hudson's story on that, but we will have more on that a little bit later in the next show.
Well, let's move on to our next story.
Yeah, Brazil has now elected its next president. Leftist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva narrowly defeated conservative incumbent Jair Bolsonaro with just over 50% of the vote. Da Silva previously served as president from 2003 until 2010. His win marks a big comeback because he spent a year and a half in prison on trumped-up corruption charges.
2 American college students are among the more than 150 people killed in a stampede during a Halloween festivity in Seoul, South Korea on Saturday. Another 80 were also injured. Officials are now calling this one of the biggest disasters in the nation's history.
South Korea has mobilized a task force to look into what happened. It is currently analyzing video clips taken by security cameras and posted to social media. Astor Martinez has the latest, and we do want to warn you, some of the video you're about to see may be disturbing.
South Korea's president visited a memorial altar early today for the more than 150 victims of a stampede that happened during Halloween festivities in the capital of Seoul this weekend. He also announced a national week of mourning as investigators continue to look into the cause of the tragedy. Tens of thousands of young people crammed into a narrow party district of Seoul on Saturday when suddenly a crowd surge became unmanageable. Minutes later, witnesses say people were falling on each other like dominoes, but insist the area was so packed with people and slow-moving vehicles. First responders couldn't reach those in need.
There was a mix of things I heard, but there was panic coming towards us, some shouts of fear, but also confusion.
There's so many people. What are you gonna do with 10 people? Yeah. And I had to turn around and I told the crowd, you can't come this way. People are dying.
Most of the victims are people in their 20s and 30s. Nearly 2/3 of those killed were women, according to South Korean officials.
That was was Astrid Martinez reporting. 26 foreigners were counted among the dead, including those 2 Americans. This was the deadliest disaster for South Korea since 2014, when a ferry sank, killing 304 people, mostly high school students.
Video released by the Morbi District Administration shows the moment a bridge collapsed in India on Sunday. At least 134 people died when the 230-meter footbridge collapsed. It was packed with sightseers enjoying Diwali, or the Festival of Lights, and Chhath Puja holidays. Many of the witnesses say people who fell into the river were children. A search is now underway for the victims. Well, as we told you earlier, we do have reaction from both sides of the aisle after the attack against House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband. Rashad Hudson has more.
Overnight, President Biden is reacting to the violent attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul.
Talk to them. He seems to be doing a lot better. Looks like he's going to recover fully.
Although a motive remains under investigation, President Biden says this type of rhetoric must stop and believes it's fueled by misinformation about the past presidential election.
All the malarkey that's being put out there to undermine democracy. You can't just apologize and say the violence. It affects people's mentality.
The violence comes as threats against lawmakers are at an all-time high just days before the midterm elections.
A vicious attack in which she has been villainized for years, and big surprise, it's gone viral and it went violent.
Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott told CNN it's okay to have a heated discussion about the issues, but violence is never the answer.
But this violence has got to stop. This is horrible, and my heart goes out to Paul Pelosi, and I hope he has a full recovery.
Well, we are following some breaking news this hour. First responders are on the scene of a crash in southeast Fresno right now.
Gabe Salazar joins us live near the scene. Gabe, what do we know?
Yeah, well, the scene has since been cleared, but 3 people in all were transported to the hospital because of the crash. This is near the intersection of Clovis Avenue and East Kings Canyon Road. Take a look at some video that was shot earlier just after the crash. CHP officers tell me that one car was heading southbound on Clovis when an SUV ran a red light heading eastbound on Kings Canyon. This happened just before 4 this morning. The impact of the crash sending a car smashing into the windows of the business and another car lodged into a tree. Everyone involved in this crash was taken to the hospital. The good news is all lanes are now open to traffic. And as soon as we have more information, we'll be sure to give you that on our website, yourcentralvalley.com. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Gabe. Also new this morning, police are investigating a crash that happened just before 3 this morning near Butler and Chance in Fresno. Officers say a car going eastbound on Butler hit a light pole, then crashed right there into the side of the house. Police say the driver ran off from the scene. There are no reports of any injuries at this time, only property damage. KSEE 24 Sunrise Time, 6:08.
Still ahead, a display raises awareness for breast cancer, how it's making a difference as Breast Cancer Awareness Month comes to a close.
And we've got a bit of a cool down for the Central Valley with some showers. First, your 40-allergy forecast brought to you by Boz Allergy. Elm and Juniper, the top pollens. We are in the low range through Thursday. I'll show you we expect a few raindrops as KSEE Sunrise continues.
Now yourcentralvalley.com, pros who know.
By using third-party financing with competitive programs, your new smile can be affordable and easy. Call Better Life today to see if you qualify.
For more expert advice, go to yourcentralvalley.com/pros who know.
Your feet, not something you think about every day, right? But when something happens to them, where do you go? Stockdale Podiatry Group. That's where. They understand that foot disorders are painful and complex. That's why they use the most advanced technology to diagnose all kinds of disorders. Come see us in our new Visalia location and find out the answers to your aching feet. Call 559-624-1405 for an environmentally safe appointment.
Politician Adam Gray. You pay his salary, but he skips work. Skipped over 150 votes. Didn't even vote to stop the gas tax. When he does show up, his votes make things worse. Gray voted for a multi-million-dollar tax on dairy farmers, a $3 million tax on grape growers, and a massive tax increase on livestock feed. Adam Gray. We're better off without him. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
with violent crime in our communities and the cost of gas, food, and medicine rising, we need a leader in the assembly that we can trust to fight for us, not a quitter like Mark Pazin. While murders in Merced County hit an all-time high, Mark shamefully abandoned his post as sheriff, quitting in the middle of a gang crisis to take a fancy Sacramento political gig. We can't trust a politician like Mark Pazin, who already turned his back on us. The stakes are too high.
Serious injuries require a serious attorney. That's why more and more people choose Jacoby & Myers. We get insurance companies to pay up to 10 times more. That means more medical and financial assistance. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
I'm Adam Gray, and I approve this message. John Dwordy doesn't live here and hasn't done a thing to lower gas prices. I voted to stop the tax on diesel for tractors and trucks, and I wrote the bill to suspend the gas tax. I took on Sacramento to protect our water and our jobs. That's why Valley sheriffs and local newspapers support me. I'm the independent Democrat for Congress.
In the Valley, we work for everything we have. But not David Shepard. He wants to be the Valley's state senator, even though he only moved here during the pandemic. Shepard came from his family's beachfront property in Orange County after he got sued for physically threatening other tenants and throwing drunken parties that hurt local businesses. Shepard's not a farmer. He's a fraud. He'll never work for the Valley in the state Senate.
Welcome back on this Halloween morning. Temperatures are on the cool side and we have clear skies now, but some clouds will move in later on throughout the afternoon into the evening. Quick look outside to show you a live picture from our Korea Health Valley Cam in Visalia. We're looking off to the east, waiting for the sunrise, which will be a little after 7 o'clock. And of course, this is the coolest portion of the day. Low 40s for Hanford, mid 40s for Madera and Visalia, low 50s for Fresno. Give or take a degree or two, temperatures are about the same compared to yesterday, and our highs might be a little bit warmer. If we can have clearing early on today, that will warm things up just a little bit more, but those clouds build throughout the morning into the afternoon. Still chilly weather to have a hot cup of coffee through the morning. We're going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s through 9 o'clock. Our highs today will be in the mid 70s. We're a little above average, which is 72, 75 today in Fresno. Showers arrive by tomorrow afternoon, late in the day, I should say. And then not only we're talking about rain for the valley, but some snow in the Sierra starting off about 6,000 feet. We'll talk more about the storm in a few minutes, but first for now, we'll send it back to you.
Well, when it comes to breast cancer screenings, it's getting harder to detect cancer among women and men with dense breast tissue.
Which means extra screenings for people with dense tissue may be necessary, according to the Yale Cancer Center. Well, those screenings aren't always covered. So there's the push at the federal level to make sure that they're covered by law. Representative Rosa DeLaro from Connecticut worked to pass a law 3 years ago that requires the FDA to develop a policy regarding providing information to women across the country with dense breasts about what they need to know. She says that 3 years later, they still haven't done it.
Well, some people in Iowa may have seen something different on their commute in Sioux City. For Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a local radio station collected donated bras. Those bras are now hanging along a bridge over Highway 75. It's part of a campaign called Bras Across the Bridge, which raises awareness for breast cancer. After taken down, the bras will then be donated to Siouxland organizations.
KSEE 24 sunrise time is 6:13.
Still ahead. A local college instructor giving a student some hands-on experience. We are going to tell you when the car they've been working on will be shown at one of the nation's largest car shows.
I see on KSEE stories of everyday people making a big difference. A community of local healthcare advocates committed to a healthier Central Valley. In fighters, I see courage. And in supporters, I see compassion. In survivors, I see grace and dignity. I see what matters. I see local stories making an impact. And I invite you to see it all here every day on KSEE 24 News.
For Rudy Salas, it's a charmed life. Paid the highest legislative salary in the nation, even as Californians pay the highest gas prices.
given over $80,000 in free gifts and trips. Some were financed by groups pushing a bill that could raise gas prices 73 cents a gallon higher. Salas backed their bill, selling you out. They paid his way, we paid the price. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
As a student athlete, my time at Fresno State did a lot more than prepare me for a career in football. My academic education prepared me for success after football. But Fresno State doesn't receive enough funding from California to be all it can be for this valley. Measure E will help our university modernize, grow, and deliver a world-class education to students right here. Please join Fresno State's team and vote yes on Measure E.
They say you eat with your eyes first, so here's a good look at our new thick and fluffy French toast. Artisan challah dipped in vanilla cinnamon batter. French toast the way it's meant to be. Try all 3 flavors, only at IHOP. Download the app and earn free food with every purchase.
I'm Jim Costa, and I approve this message.
Across America, the Supreme Court has taken away women's constitutionally protected right to reproductive freedom. Michael Maher's position, the same. Maher is supported by extreme groups who want to outlaw a woman's choice, even in cases of rape, incest, and health. Maybe that's why Maher pledged his loyalty to Donald Trump, whose judges overturned Roe v. Wade. Michael Maher, too extreme for us.
Why are attorneys in Southern California asking you to call them about your car wreck case up here?
What do they know about our communities?
Call them, and your case may wind up on a beach under a palm tree.
Things are different here. We know our people and how to get you paid.
Here you can talk to us, the attorneys you see on TV.
And cases big or small, we put you first.
Car wreck? Call the Curtis Legal Group.
The heavy hitters.
The heavy hitters are the way to go. Call 1-800-LAW-3080.
Get local news that matters at the new YourCentralValley.com and your certified accurate forecasts every day. KSEE 24 News is always available at YourCentralValley.com.
Sliced fresh sandwiches, poured of subs.
Welcome back on this Halloween morning, and things are on the cool side now. Mild this afternoon, and the important things dry for trick-or-treaters tonight. We're not expecting any rain, but different story tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. This morning, 52 degrees in Fresno, 53 in Bakersfield, and 52 in Sacramento. We have 50s along the coast and 60s in Palm Springs. Most of the Central Valley, though, in the 40s, 47 degrees in Merced, 45 in Visalia, and 42 in Hanford. Of course, last week we had a few mornings where temperatures were in the 30s, so it's not as cold as last week, but still chilly out there for a sweater or jacket as you head out the door this morning. Quick look outside to show you a live picture from one of our new valley cams. This one in Northwest Fresno at Herndon and Palm Avenue. You can see conditions are clear, traffic fairly light, and the area and high pressure trying to build over California once again. So we are going to warm up a little bit more, just a degree or two, but some clouds coming in off of the coast of Central and Southern California will kind of slow the warming process down, but that ridge moves out of the way after today. Futurecast shows the clouds building throughout the day into the afternoon, evening. Again, no rain for trick-or-treaters tonight. This is noon tomorrow. Showers approaching the extreme northwest portion of the valley, Los Banos, Gustine, Newman, and then they finally approach the Fresno area about 3 or 4 o'clock. This is a fairly quick moving system. Rainfall amounts are going to be light. Maybe a quarter-inch of rain at the most for the valley if we're lucky. That's more likely in the foothills. In the Sierra, though, snow levels start off about 6,000 feet, then drop down to 5,000 feet. That could continue into Wednesday, and it's a decent snowmaker to get things going for one of our first storms of the season. Maybe an isolated shower early Wednesday, but then that's about it, though. Skies clear and temperatures cool off fast. Northern Sierra, say Fresno County northward, up into Yosemite. Winter storm watch in effect tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. until Wednesday night at 11 o'clock. This could be upgraded to a warning. Highest elevations of the Sierra could pick up a foot of snow, more likely about 4 to 8 inches, about 6,000 feet, but the snow levels drop down to 5,000 feet, 3 to 6 inches. 75 today, average is 72, and today's record 90 set back in 1887. Remember, 90s are still possible until like mid-November, so we still got a ways to go, but we're not expecting that in the immediate future. 75 in Corcoran today, 75 for Hanford, 54 in Sequoia, 72 in Aubrey, 75 for Oakhurst, 68 for Yosemite, 72 in Mariposa. And here's dog number 3 of the morning right here. Of course, a lot of people dressed up their pups. We're trying to show them all for today. This is our friend Carmela. Thank you to Joanne for sending me this picture on my Facebook page. She's got a little, kind of like a striped outfit going on right there with the orange and black for Halloween. Remember, take that walk early on in the day because the streets are going to be full of trick-or-treaters tonight. Might be a little scary for your pup out there. And as always, we're always looking for your pup pictures. Send them to Ruben KSEE24 on social media. Tomorrow, we're going to see a few showers by the end of the day. Could linger to Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, then skies clear by Thursday. Our highs drop into the 50s. A little bit of a warmer to the weekend, mid-60s, not bad for early November. The important thing is we got that time change where we fall back 1 hour and gain an extra hour of sleep Saturday night, Sunday morning. Your regional forecast available any time of the day. Just go to yourcentralvalley.com to check it out. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Well, 8-year-old Sam Baker has now officially become the youngest person to climb El Capitan. We told you about the boy and his dad, Joe, last week. We showed you an interview with them from the face of the mountain. They set out on a journey. The massive wall of granite stands at more than 3,000 feet at Yosemite National Park. The Bakers, who are from Colorado, say they prepare for the climb by training every day for the last 18 months. After reaching the summit, they hiked 8 miles back down to the valley floor.
Wow. Well, this next story is forever die-hard car enthusiasts.
A local college instructor, with some help from some students, will be turning heads in Sin City at one of the nation's biggest car shows this week. KSEE24's Rhett Rodriguez has a story.
Melvin Roman has been going to the SEMA car show in Las Vegas for years. This time, Roman said just going to the show wasn't enough.
Since November of last year, I started working on it. I bought the car and I come to the show every year, and I just decided this year that I was just gonna build a car.
So Roman went out and bought a Kia Stinger. After a year of collaborations between COS students and local body shops, the Stinger is ready to take the stage.
Been an effort, not just only me and my students, but several other local shops in town,
A number of modifications have been made, including new LED-colored lights in the front grille and headlights. A new wrap along with a carbon fiber hood and spoiler have also been added.
Because it gives them a chance to work on some real-life scenarios where they can do some wiring and some soldering, teaching the proper way.
Roman's car is one of thousands that will be on display at SEMA, and one of hundreds in the competition for the Battle of the Builds. The winner of the competition gets a 1-hour special on SEMA's social page, and most of all, global recognition as one of the nation's top builders. To Roman, he says he already feels like a winner.
A very good, achievement. It'll be something for me. I won already, because I'm here and I was able to bring my car and show it off.
In Fresno, Rhett Rodriguez, KSEE24, local news that matters.
Coming up today at 3, happy Halloween. How to take a trip that's out of this world with Jets Plus. And Valley Animal Center is here for Mutt Monday with another adorable adoptable. All that and more today at 3 on Central Valley Today.
Start your better life with a new implanted supported smile from Dr. Ryan Dunlop.
I smile nonstop. I love taking pictures, something I've never been able to do. It's just been completely life-changing for me. There's no other way to put it.
Call today to book your consultation.
When you have connections, life is good. And life's really good for Sacramento politician Adam Gray. You paid his salary and benefits most of his adult life. Gray took lavish trips and gifts from special interests. Gray played the system. Even his scandal-ridden father-in-law got in on the gig. Registered as a state lobbyist once Gray got elected. Adam Gray, he's connected the Sacramento way. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
He cost local farmers millions. So now he runs for Congress? John Duarte. A judge ruled Duarte knowingly sold defective trees to local farmers. A mutation affected the tree's growth. Duarte knew, but sold them anyway, costing local farmers millions. Then Duarte refused to refund their money, acting like he's above the law. A guy like John Duarte in Congress? It could cost us all. House Majority PAC's responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Rudy Salas didn't show up for work almost 450 times, but he did show up to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon and backed reckless spending that made inflation worse. And if Rudy Salas gets to Congress, he'll be a rubber stamp for Biden and Pelosi's agenda, selling out the Central Valley to turning his back on us. Because Rudy Salas is a politician who only looks out for himself.
Prop 29 is all about politics and not about patient care at all.
One special interest, SEIU-UHW, is pushing yet another dangerous dialysis proposition that threatens the lives of 80,000 dialysis patients.
The same special interests are picking on dialysis year after year.
If I could tell special interests one thing.
Please stop.
Enough is enough. Please leave our dialysis patients alone.
Please protect us.
Vote no on 29.
Start your better life with a new implanted supported smile from Dr. Ryan Dunlop.
You don't mind smiling. People notice that. You know, it makes you feel better. Smile at people and let people know that, hey, here's a caring soul.
Call today to book your consultation.
Welcome back on this Halloween morning. Temperatures a little chilly out there, and we've got some clouds moving in. Check out the sunrise happening right now from our valley cam at KSEE 24 overlooking southeast Fresno. Sunrise officially about 7:15 or so we're starting to see a little bit of light out there, but those clouds coming off the coast. No rain associated with these clouds and no rain for trick-or-treaters tonight. Temperatures still kind of mild early on in the evening. We'll be in the 70s through 6 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, we'll drop into the 60s. You'll notice the clouds increasing. Sunset officially a little after 6 o'clock this evening. Mid-70s today. We drop into the 60s tomorrow with a little bit of rain by the afternoon. We are talking about snow in the Sierra, but skies clear by the end of the day on Wednesday, and we hold on to the cool temperatures through Friday. The weekend, though, we do warm up and things dry out by then for sure. We'll show you that 7-day forecast in a few minutes. First, for now, we'll set it back to you.
Dressing up your little ones for Halloween is a memorable moment for pretty much all parents, but for babies born prematurely, a traditional costume not always an option as they recover in the hospital. But that is not the case in Rockford, Illinois, where neonatal intensive care nurses created 52 costumes for the NICU babies, each of them unique and handmade, ranging from animals to an ice cream cone.
Aw, and also check out these cuties, preemies at New Mountain View NICU in California, dressed up for the holiday. Some babies were witches and pumpkins, and others in outfits to represent the holiday in candy baskets. That is adorable. I love seeing babies dressed up for Halloween.
Yeah, it's you know, it's something for those parents. They're going through so much with their newborns in the NICU.
Something to make you smile for a brief moment.
Smile. Exactly.
KSEE 24 sunrise time is 6:26.
We'll be right back.
Tips to actually save money and stretch the dollars that you are spending.
Don't buy a new iPhone, buy Apple stocks.
The #1 secret to making extra money.
New Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, today at 4 on KSEE 24.
Imagine having a cushy six-figure salary and not doing your job. That's politician Rudy Salas. Salas has skipped over 400 votes in the legislature. The Jobs Committee he sits on, Salas skipped nearly 60% of those meetings. Worse, Salas skipped a vote that would have lowered our gas prices. We're paying him a six-figure salary for that? Rudy Salas is just not working for us. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Rudy Salas didn't show up for work almost 450 times, but he did show up to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon and backed reckless spending that made inflation worse. And if Rudy Salas gets to Congress, he'll be a rubber stamp for Biden and Pelosi's agenda, selling out the Central Valley, turning his back on us. Because Rudy Salas is a politician who only looks out for himself.
When choosing a personal injury lawyer, it pays to hire a law firm with a reputation for integrity, trust, results, and 50 years of winning for their clients. We get our clients up to 10 times the original insurance offer. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
I love spending time with my grandchildren. Their health and happiness are always on my mind. As a dad, grandfather, and an Omni Family Health physician, we've made healthcare a family tradition. Along with 200 Omni Family Health providers, we care for your family as if they were our own families. At Omni Family Health, I've been caring for neighborhood families like yours for over 37 years.
Our family serving yours. Omni Family Health.
Your feet, not something you think about every day, right? But when something happens to them, where do you go? Stockdale Podiatry Group. That's where. They understand that foot disorders are painful and complex. That's why they use the most advanced technology to diagnose all kinds of disorders. Come see us in our new Visalia location and find out the answers to your aching feet. Call 559-624-1405 for an environmentally safe appointment.
Prop 26 is a massive expansion of gambling in California. It would give wealthy tribal casinos a virtual monopoly on sports betting. No wonder every major California newspaper opposes Prop 26. The Fresno Bee says voters should reject Prop 26. The LA Times calls Prop 26 toxic and a bad bet. The Mercury News says Prop 26 would enable reckless profiteering. Vote no on Prop 26.
Next crew. It is the ET reunion. Does it feel like 40 years?
It was something that connected with everybody. It was a phenomenon.
Now, I believed ET was real.
The Drew Barrymore Show, today at 2 on KSEE 24. The latest conditions, live. The KSEE 24 Valley Cam Network. Local news that matters. This is KSEE 24 News Sunrise.
Ahead on KSEE 24 Sunrise, people remembering to look out for one another after a shooting in a Fresno neighborhood.
I always try to keep it clean, especially, under the overpass.
What the police know as they continue to investigate the random act.
And sparks flying at the Fresno State game.
It's all a bit overwhelming, I guess, but it feels amazing.
With a marriage proposal after a Bulldog Blitz driver takes the plunge at halftime.
And we have some trick-or-treat tips to keep your family safe as you celebrate the end to spooky season. KSEE 24 Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning. Welcome to KSEE 24 Sunrise. I'm Brody Lowe.
And I'm Caroline Collins. Happy Halloween. Thanks for waking up with us on this Halloween morning at 6:31 a.m.
What about people who are legit scared on Halloween? Not so happy for you guys.
Your house isn't really
Sorry
haunted. We have theories about this building being haunted.
Ooh, look at that sky. It's a haunting sky. There's purples and blacks.
Joining us is Ruben Contreras, dressed in his
Thank you for joining us, Ruben.
Well, the way this place has been going the past couple days with certain people, I mean, hey, I'm still here, yeah. Except for most of December, so keep that in mind. Temperatures today are going to be mild out there. Nothing spooky about our forecast. It is going to be a little mild in the afternoon, but of course, our temperatures are going to be more seasonable after we get into the middle part of the week. Of course, temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s this afternoon for Merced, Fresno, Visalia. We're actually in the 40s and 50s. It's chilly out there, but we had some colder mornings last week. Colder mornings will return later on in the week. 75 in Mendota today, 75 in Madera, 77 for Hanford. Average for this time of year is 72. So we're above that. This is not record heat. It's just a little mild for Halloween. And of course, our temperatures up in the Sierra are also a little on mild side. 68 in Yosemite, 75 for Oakers, and 60 in Shaver Lake, where it's a cold 31 degrees. And by tomorrow night, Shaver could see a little bit of snow. We'll talk more about our first storm of the season in a few minutes. First, for now, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, Ruben, thank you. Now we are following some breaking news out of West Fresno, where police are investigating an early morning shooting.
Gabe Salazar is live near the scene at Cornell and Hughes with more. Gabe.
Yeah, so a man is now recovering after police say he was shot multiple times. We are at the intersection of Cornell and Hughes. If you take a look behind me, you can see a clearer look at the scene. So police say that he was coming home from the store while he was approached by another man. They exchanged words. The suspected shooter got into his car and then fired 5 shots at the victim. Police say the suspect was last seen driving off in a white car, and police are telling me that the suspect and the victim did not know each other. They are questioning witnesses right now on the other side of the crime scene tape. As soon as we have more information, we'll be sure to give you that live here and on our website, yourcentralvalley.com. Guys, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Gabe. And new this morning, police are investigating a crash that happened just before 3 a.m. near Butler and Chance in Fresno. A car going eastbound on Butler hit a light pole. Then you see it right there. Ended up crashing into the side of a house. Now, police say the driver ran off. There are no reports of any injuries at this time, just that property damage you see.
Police are investigating a shooting in Fresno that left a 26-year-old man injured.
Police say it happened just after 4 p.m. in the 3100 block of Floridora near Orchard on Sunday afternoon. Now, police say the victim in this case and the shooter, they didn't know each other, and that the victim was sitting in a parked car alongside Floridora when someone drove by and fired at his car. The shooter was driving a white-colored sedan and fired 8 or 9 rounds into the victim's car. There was a woman sitting in the car with the victim, and she was able to drive them to the hospital where he underwent surgery and is listed in stable condition. One of the neighbors told KSEE 24, well, he didn't hear anything, but his neighbors let him know that there were some shots fired in the neighborhood. He said residents who live on the block are close and they try to look out for one another.
I always try to keep it clean, especially, you know, under the overpass. Matter of fact, we gathered at the tracks and we spoke about it and what can be done, and next time.
Right now, police say there is no threat to the public in this case, and it seems to be just an isolated incident. The police were alerted to the area after multiple neighbors called 911. Also, there were about 10 rounds of shot spotter activation. The female who was sitting with the victim in the car was not hurt.
Another shooting that sent 3 young people to the hospital Saturday night. This shooting happening on Highway 99 near Bakersfield. CHP says it was a car-to-car shooting, meaning that the suspect or suspects were in another car, drove up next to the victim's car, and then opened fire. The driver was hit, and that prompted them to drive into the center divider, then swerve all the way to the right side of the freeway, where it came to a stop. An ambulance was called out to check on the occupants for a single car crash, but that's when it was discovered that the 3 men had been shot. They are all in their 20s and expected to survive those gunshot wounds.
Fresno deputies are investigating a man found dead following a shooting at a Halloween party. Deputies rushed to Hedges and DeWolf around 2 a.m. on Saturday morning. We're told they believe a large Halloween party was taking place when a fight broke out. That's when shots were fired. When officials got there, they say a man was found unresponsive. Homicide detectives are still trying to piece together exactly what happened. No arrests have been made in this case.
Well, police are looking for the person who shot a man in the face Saturday morning. Officials say that this all happened around 12:30 Saturday morning on the 100 block of East 12th Street. They say when they got there, they found a 26-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound to his face. Investigators say that they found a good amount of blood in an alleyway they believe is connected to the shooting. The man was airlifted to the hospital and is expected to live. If you do have any information on this case, you're asked to please call Merced Police.
Authorities were called to the scene of an emergency plane landing in Santa Maria due to mechanical failure. A friend of the pilot says the pilot was flying from Van Nuys Airport to San Luis Obispo Airport when the plane just ran out of power. The pilot somehow was able to land on the side of the road. No injuries to himself and no damages to the plane, no damage to any cars around him. You see, there are cars going on this highway. The pilot's friend calling it a miracle and the perfect way for a plane to land in an emergency like this one.
He landed safely. He watched for the cars, and there was a gap in between the cars, and he got it down on the ground.
It took 2 tow trucks to get the plane off the side of the road into the nearest airport. The exact cause of why the plane lost power is still under investigation.
A Catholic church in Colesville County was vandalized last week, and authorities have finally caught the person responsible. Not only was the entire inside of the church completely wrecked, items were destroyed, obscenities were carved into the altar, items used for mass and ceremonies for the past several decades were tarnished. 67-year-old Colusa resident James Stollenberg was arrested 2 days later after church security video captured the incident. The county's district attorney says that there's reason to believe that the rampage was targeted.
Again, his comments were made about Catholics, and that one of the examples is he indicated that the Catholic religion is a fake religion.
The church is over 100 years old, and he's been a mainstay in this tight-knit community. Many of the items destroyed were historic or priceless. Now the Catholic community is picking up the pieces. KSEE 24 Sunrise time is 6:38.
Still ahead. What a perfect way to celebrate Halloween with your pooch. I wasn't doing it like an accent there. Just talking about pause. Anyway, the Tower Theater Pooch Parade's after this.
And things are cooling down a little bit, and we're expecting some rain soon. First, your 40 forecast brought to you by Boz Allergy. Elm and juniper, the top pollens. We are in the low range through Thursday. I'll show you when we can expect a few raindrops as KSEE Sunrise continues.
This has never been done before.
3 artists are going to perform, and we can only choose one.
This is a very tough decision.
I quit.
It's been a great run.
You broke me. I quit.
You are Father Davenport. You were here to perform an exorcism.
This is not real. There's a scientific explanation for what's happening. Hell no.
911.
911, what's your emergency?
I smell something delicious and I don't know what it is.
Ma'am, we've traced the smell, and it's coming from inside your oven.
Ah, amazing!
Papa Murphy's. Imagine having a cushy six-figure salary and not doing your job. That's politician Rudy Salas. Salas has skipped over 400 votes in the legislature. The Jobs Committee he sits on, Salas skipped nearly 60% of those meetings. Worse, Salas skipped a vote that would have lowered our gas prices. We're paying him a six-figure salary for that? Rudy Salas is just not working for us. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Rudy Salas didn't show up for work almost 450 times, but he did show up to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon and backed reckless spending that made inflation worse. And if Rudy Salas gets to Congress, he'll be a rubber stamp for Biden and Pelosi's agenda, selling out the Central Valley, turning his back on us. Because Rudy Salas is a politician who only looks out for himself.
You know what I love about November? The chill of the air, the warmth of the fire, the unforgettable smell of cold, hard cash. It's November to remember at Tachi Palace. Every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Premier Club members that rack up over 100 points can win up to $5,000 in cash and prizes. So this fall, make it a November to remember. See Premier Club for more details. Only at Tachi Palace Casino Resort in Lemoore.
I was denied my Social Security disability claim, even though I can't work.
I'm so frustrated dealing with the government, and the last thing I want is some faceless lawyer on the phone.
I want personal attention. Someone experienced
who knows our local legal system
and will fight for me.
When you can't work, the law offices of Robert Ishikawa will fight to get you Social Security disability benefits. Call 559-432-9600. Social Security disability is all we do.
These are the faces of the future, and the future is bright, especially with the energy and knowledge Des House brings to the city of Clovis.
We're no one suburb, and I intend to keep it that way. I'm Des House. Clovis first, Clovis always.
Welcome back on this Halloween morning. Temperatures a little chilly out there, and conditions are going to be dry for trick-or-treaters tonight. Already seen some clouds move in. Check out the sunrise happening right now from our Valley Cam. This is a live picture in Visalia from Kauai Health. We're looking off to the east. You do see the outline of the Tulare County Mountains off in the distance, and those clouds coming in off the coast of Southern California. No rain associated with these clouds. It's the cloud cover coming in tonight into tomorrow that will bring us a little bit of rain. 52 in Fresno, 45 in Visalia, 47 for Merced. Give or take a degree or two. Valley temperatures are about the same compared to this time yesterday. For trick-or-treating tonight, you'll notice a little bit more cloud cover out there. Still mild out there early on in the evening. We're going to be in the 70s through 6 o'clock. Sunset at 6:03, and after 7 o'clock, we're in the 60s. If you're out there really late towards 10, 11 o'clock, we do drop into the 50s. 75 today, mild for this time of year. Some light showers arrive by the end of the day tomorrow into tomorrow night. Might have a sprinkle or two early Wednesday, but then on Thursday, our highs only in the 50s. One of our coolest days in quite some time for the Central Valley. We'll talk more about the weekend forecast in a few minutes. First, for now, we'll send it back to you.
Well, it's a Halloween parade that was flat out doggone adorable. That's right, the annual Pooch Parade took place in the heart of the Tower District this weekend. And of course, the costume contest was there for all the pups in attendance. The event ran for 6 hours with an award ceremony at the end to wrap things up. The event has been going on for the past 2 decades. They expect to keep it running for even longer.
Well, some kids in Fresno got the chance to go trick-or-treating a little bit early this year. Take a look. Storyland Fresno in Roding Park hosted a trick-or-treat event and invited kids from all over to come dressed up in their Halloween costumes a day early. Trick-or-treaters got to show off their outfits for their friends and family, and the park helped them to decorate Tootsie Pops and ghosts and spiders. Organizers with the event say that they wanted to give everyone a chance to enjoy the holiday safely.
Storyland in general is just a fun place for kids to come have fun, and the weather's so beautiful. It's an outdoor activity. It's a safe activity for Halloween.
So to combat the candy consumption, toothbrushes were also handed out for kids on Sunday to remind them to practice good dental hygiene while they enjoy their Halloween candy.
That's right, brush those kids' teeth. Well, the sparks were flying at Fresno State Saturday night After jumping from the sky at halftime at Fresno State's game against San Diego State, Blitz team member Brandy Robertson was awaited by her boyfriend, who got down on one knee at midfield. He popped the question, she said yes, and then they celebrated.
It's all a bit overwhelming, I guess, but it feels amazing. We actually met last year in Italy, base jumping. Him and I both enjoy jumping off cliffs. We both love to travel, very adventurous, and I don't know, we just enjoy life.
Yeah, what a way to pop the question. Congrats to the happy couple, and they already have their honeymoon probably planned. They're just going to go jump off something.
Jump off in a cliff, taking the plunge.
Yeah, taking the plunge. The true taking the plunge. KSEE 24 Sunrise Time, 6:44.
Still ahead, a few tips and tricks on how to make this Halloween safe for everyone.
What I see on KSEE 24, stories of everyday people making a big difference and an impact in our community. I see passion. I see a collective driven to make changes in public policy, voicing concerns and advocating issues, making the Valley better for everyone. I see local stories making an impact. So I want to invite you to see it all here every day on KSEE 24 News.
They walk among us. They dance and sing. They even rule our plaza. And this morning, they'll do it again. Today is where your Halloween begins.
For Central Valley women, our doctors and nurses, it's a tough new world since the Supreme Court took away our right to choose. Even tougher if John Duarte ever gets to Congress. Because John Duarte supports allowing extremist politicians to ban abortion. No exceptions, not for rape or incest. Can't John Duarte see the harm that does to all of us? We still have the right to choose our congressman, and we can't choose John Duarte. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
I am sick of politicians failing to keep us safe. I will always ensure violent criminals serve their full sentences. Unlike Mark Pazin, who let an accused double murderer go free and accidentally released a convicted sex offender, with crime on the rise, I secured nearly $2 billion for law enforcement. Mark cut officers, then quit his job as sheriff to take a cushy Sacramento political gig. I will never quit on keeping your family and our community safe.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
Rudy Salas didn't show up for work almost 450 times, but he did show up to increase the price of gas by 73 cents a gallon and backed reckless spending that made inflation worse. And if Rudy Salas gets to Congress, he'll be a rubber stamp for Biden and Pelosi's agenda, selling out the Central Valley, turning his back on us. Because Rudy Salas is a politician who only looks out for himself.
Registration for Fresno Unified's free winter camps open Monday, November 7th. Grades K through 8 can enjoy camps ranging from drones and aviation, visual arts, winter sports like snowboarding and skiing, and so much more. Camps will begin December 19th through January 6th. This year, you can register using your cell phone. Please check with your school to make sure your contact information is up to date so you don't miss a thing. Registration closes November 25th. Visit FresnoUnified.org to learn more.
Vote November 8th and follow KSEE 24, your local election headquarters.
And it's a cool start to your Halloween morning, and our temperatures this afternoon will be mild. We're going to see clouds build throughout the day, but we're not expecting any rain today, so good news for trick-or-treaters. Conditions will be dry for tonight, but tomorrow, by the end of the day, we are expecting a few light showers in the valley. 52 this morning in Fresno, 47 for Merced, 45 in Visalia, and 42 for Hanford. Quick look of the sunrise happening right now from our Valley Cam, one of our new Valley Cams in Northwest Fresno at Herndon and Palm Avenue. We're looking off to the northeast. You start to see a little bit of sunlight between the cloud cover and the Sierra in the Fresno County area. Some clouds coming in off of the coast of Central and Southern California. Really no moisture with these clouds, at least for us, but as we move forward into the afternoon, it's still going to be mild out there, maybe a little bit warmer today compared to the weekend, so high pressure technically in control of our weather pattern for today. But Futurecast shows the clouds increasing throughout the day into tonight. This is tomorrow afternoon, about 12 o'clock or so. Some showers approaching the northwest portion of the valley, Merced, Los Banos, Castine, and then we have to wait until about 3 or 4 o'clock for shower activity activity to move into Fresno tomorrow afternoon. If we get anything out of this, at the most, a quarter-inch of rain for the valley, probably more likely a 1/10 of an inch, but a quarter-inch of rain more likely in the foothills and, of course, in the Sierra. We are talking about snow, starting off about 6,500 feet, 6,000 feet, then down to 5,000 feet by Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. The highest terrain of the Sierra could probably pick up a foot of fresh snow, but 6,000 feet, maybe close to 8 inches, but lower elevations, 5,000 feet, probably 3 to 6 inches, and then skies are going to clear by the time we get into Thursday. Winter storm watch in effect for the Sierra from about the middle portion of Fresno County northward up into Yosemite. This is 5 o'clock tomorrow morning all the way until Wednesday night. And of course, there's going to be some gusty winds at the highest elevations, close to 40-mile-an-hour winds for the Sierra, and that winter storm watch does stretch into northern California. 75 today in Pixley, 75 in Huron, 75 in Kalinga, 75 in Fresno. Pretty much everyone at 75 today. 57 at China Peak, 75 for Oakers, 68 in Yosemite, 75 for Merced. Air quality good in the North Valley for Merced and Madera counties, moderate for Fresno, Kings, and Tulare counties, and Sequoia National Park. Again, a lot of trick-or-treaters are going to be out and about this evening, so walk the pubs early on in the day. Avoid that walk in the evening. We asked and we received if people were dressing up their wiener dogs. Well, here they are. These are our friends Heidi and Monty. Thank you to Robin McMillan for sending me this pictures. I guess Heidi's a ballerina, and then Monty, he's got one of those shirts where he's the skeleton costume right there. So fun stuff right there. Thank you to all of you who sent us dog walking pictures. I think we covered them all. We'll be back to our regular dog walking forecast tomorrow. 7-day forecast shows we've got some mild temperatures today. Then we drop into the 60s tomorrow. Rain arrives very late in the afternoon into the evening. Maybe a shower or two early Wednesday morning, and then Thursday, skies clear. Temperatures only in the 50s, overnight lows in the 30s, but we do warm up this weekend. Plus, we got that time change where we fall back 1 hour and gain an extra hour of sleep. Your regional forecast available any time of the day. Just go to yourcentralvalley.com to check it out. For now, we'll send it back to you.
I noticed those Halloweener dogs we asked for. You send them into Reuben. See, sometimes you got to be serious, and then people take you seriously. You'll probably see more than a few black cats as Halloween approaches, but there's something about cats you may not know.
Ooh, I love cats. They can take twice as long to find homes as their multicolored or white feline friends.
Really?
The poor little black kitties are so nice. Some animal shelters are making an appeal for people to adopt the black cats. Folklore says that black cats are actually luck, but when it comes to adoption, not so much. Some think that it may be because their jet black fur doesn't show up as well on Instagram or other social media platforms, especially in the dark. Wait, I thought the folklore says that they're bad luck.
Nope. Listen, let's just call them lucky. We're flipping that on its axis.
Folklore says black cats are actually lucky. That's what the script says, but I thought it was that was bad if one walks in front of you.
Caroline, we're trying to get these cats
I know.
adopted.
I love cats of any color.
What are you doing, Caroline?
I saw one last night in my neighborhood.
And yeah, and you just let it
I let another stray in my place last night and fed it, actually.
Oh boy.
I know.
A Kentucky man got attention around the world for playing dead on TikTok.
Oh my, and now it has landed him a role in a popular show. Take a look.
I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life.
Living Dead Josh has made more than 360 videos of himself pretending to be a corpse. Why?
This is amazing.
Maybe
this will make me start a TikTok.
He films himself laying face down in mud, sitting in a rocking chair, or collapsed over a bar. And the videos have racked up more than 1 million views. Talent scouts from CSI Vegas even cast him in an episode. Natalie says that producers flew him out to LA to play a dead body in an upcoming episode.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get cast as a grumpy newsman since I put you in all my TikToks and you just play grumpy.
Any casting directors watching Caroline's TikTok, give me a call.
If you want a really grumpy newsman, that's your guy.
I'm your guy.
Well, it is finally Halloween, and before leaving your house for trick-or-treat, local law enforcement and animal shelter staff have some tips on how you can keep your kids and your pets safe.
To make sure nothing actually scary happens for trick-or-treaters, police say don't go into homes or apartments without adult supervision. In fact, just probably don't go into strangers' homes at all. While kids are excited for the candy, remind them you got to walk, don't run, don't worry. There's plenty of candy for everyone, especially because those decorations can be tripping hazards with all the extension cords and things. And once start knocking on doors, ask your kid to bring home treats before they start eating them, so then you can inspect it, and throw away any candy that is unwrapped, partially wrapped, or anything that looks like it has a weird color, texture, or smell. If your kid has a cell phone, you may want to have them download a mobile tracking app like Find My Friends or Life 360. That way you know exactly where they are in real time.
And while trick-or-treating may be fun for kids, for your pets it may be more tricks than treats. Officials say if you put your dog in another room, if you expect to give out candy, you should put them in another room so that they don't run out the door. They might get scared of all those costumes. You also want to make sure that your pet's ID tags are updated and have a recent picture of them in case they do go missing. For more tips this Halloween, just visit our website, yourcentralvalley.com. I always like to tell this story, but when I was a kid, we trick-or-treated on golf carts, like whipped up to front doors on golf carts. Like, it was so cool.
Wow, so fancy.
I know. KSEE 21st Sunrise time is 6:54.
Take a look at this morning's top stories after this.
World exclusive. The Jason Sudeikis, Olivia Wilde, Harry Styles divorce triangle. Now their nanny speaks.
What did you see on set between Harry and Olivia?
Next, Inside Edition.
Inside Edition tonight at 7 on KSEE 24.
Education matters at KSEE 24, and we're dedicated to bringing you inspirational stories of students finding new ways to strive for success. Watch these Education Matters stories now at yourcentralvalley.com. Just click Education.
Hey, hun, are you ready to go?
Giddy up, guys.
It doesn't have to be this ridiculous, but it can be this easy. At the Bones Store, we have all of your power recline and power lift needs.
So how is life in that new chair?
Life is great. And you guys?
Never better. The Bones Store, improving the way you walk, move, sit, and sleep.
Families are struggling, and David Valadeo is making things worse. Valadeo voted against capping insulin prices, refused COVID relief for families, but his family business took thousands, even opposed raising the minimum wage. David Valadeo, out for himself, but Rudy Salas is putting the Valley first. Salas got overtime pay for farm workers and stood up to drug companies to lower insulin costs. Rudy Salas, lowering costs, standing with us. DCCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Join us for Clausen Motorsports' 4th Annual Veterans Motorcycle Run on Saturday, November 5th.
Politician Adam Gray. You pay his salary, but he skips work. Skipped over 150 votes. Didn't even vote to stop the gas tax. When he does show up, his votes make things worse. Gray voted for a multi-million-dollar tax on dairy farmers, a $3 million tax on grape growers, and a massive tax increase on livestock feed. Adam Gray. We're better off without him. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Adam Gray, and I approve this message. John Dwordy doesn't live here and hasn't done a thing to lower gas prices. I voted to stop the tax on diesel for tractors and trucks, and I wrote the bill to suspend the gas tax. I took on Sacramento to protect our water and our jobs. That's why Valley sheriffs and local newspapers support me. I'm the independent Democrat for Congress.
Celebrating our men and women of service, the Veterans Motorcycle Run, November 5th.
Today's top stories. Police are investigating an early morning shooting in West Fresno. Officers say it happened just before 4:30 this morning on Cornell Avenue between Hughes and Weber. Police say a man in his 60s returned home from a store and was approached by another man in his 30s. They exchanged words. Officers say the man in his 30s fired 5 rounds at the victim, hitting him in the lower body. Officers say the suspect drove away. The victim was taken to the hospital in stable condition.
Police are also investigating a crash in southeast Fresno. It all happened around 4 this morning near Kings Canyon and Clovis Avenues. Officers say that a vehicle ran a red light, hitting another vehicle in the intersection. One car went through a building. The other crashed on its side. At least 3 people were taken to the hospital.
Also this morning, police are investigating a crash. It happened just before 3 a.m. near Butler and Chance in Fresno. A car going eastbound on Butler hit a light pole, then crashed into the side of the house. You see it right there. Police say the driver ran off. There are no reports of any injuries.
Temperatures are going to be mild for Halloween afternoon and a little cool in the evening. We've got some clouds moving in, but we're not expecting any rain for tonight. Tomorrow, though, we will see some showers. Quick look outside to show you current conditions from our Valley Cam, one of our new ones at the Tulare outlets in Tulare. You see a few clouds off in the distance. These clouds are coming in off of the disturbance off of the coast of Central and Southern California. Not expecting rain from these clouds, but the clouds cover for tonight and tomorrow will bring a little bit of rain for Tuesday. Your Halloween planner shows we are going to be in the 60s at lunchtime, a mild afternoon, temperatures in the mid-70s. It's going to be cool and dry out there this evening. Upper 60s towards 7 o'clock and sunsets towards 6 o'clock this evening for all you trick-or-treaters out there. After being in the 70s today, 60s tomorrow, and we're going to see a few showers at the end of the day. Fairly light rain. Snow levels will start off about maybe 6,000 feet or so. Then once we get into the afternoon, they could drop down to 5,000 feet, and there's a winter storm watch in effect for the Sierra. A few showers on Wednesday, and then skies start to clear this weekend, and we got that time change where we fall back 1 hour. We'll send it back to you on this Halloween morning.
All right, stay tuned for the Today Show. That's on next. I'm sure they have all kinds of wacky Halloween things planned.
All out. We'll be back at 11 for KSEE 24 Midday. Have a happy and safe Halloween.
Good morning. New details emerging in that frightening attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband.
What the House Speaker and police are saying this morning. It is October 31st. This is today. Inside the investigation, authorities reveal the suspect who broke into the Pelosi San Francisco home was carrying zip ties.
He was looking for Mrs. Pelosi.
And had a history of posting radical conspiracy theories online. The speaker saying her family is traumatized this morning. Her husband still in the ICU. We'll have the very latest. Halloween tragedy, a growing memorial to the victims in a deadly weekend stampede in South Korea. More than 150 people killed, at least 2 Americans among the dead.
There was panic coming towards us, some shouts of fear.
Just ahead, new details on what led to those chaotic moments. All eyes on the Supreme Court. The justices set to take up the controversial issue of affirmative action today, where they're live with the historic cases after decades of division that could impact millions of students. Those stories, and it's official. What we're now learning about Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen's divorce after 13 years of marriage and months of speculation, how it went from filed to finalized in just 1 day. Plus, get your tickets inside the lottery fever from coast to coast ahead of tonight's Powerball drawing. The jackpot worth a whopping $1 billion and counting. And happy Halloween. It is the biggest day of the year on our plaza. And as always, we are pulling out the stops. We are betting big on our can't miss costume reveal today, Monday, October 31st, 2022.
From NBC News, this is Today with Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb. Live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Welcome to Monday, and happy Halloween.
We got a big reveal in store. We got a packed plaza.
We have 2 ambulances just on standby.
We'll let you know why.
But probably it'll be all right. You know we like to go big on Halloween, and this year is no exception. Speaking of Halloween, after a busy weather weekend, Al is keeping an eye on some severe storms on the move. What that means for your night of trick-or-treating just ahead. Oh, there it is.
But we are going to begin with new information on that attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul. 3 days later, he remains in the hospital. He's being cared for in the ICU.
San Francisco's district attorney has now confirmed the suspect was looking for Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and sources say he had a bag of zip ties with him at the time. NBC's Miguel Almaguer is at the San Francisco hospital where Paul Pelosi is recovering and in the ICU this morning. Miguel, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. A source familiar with the matter does confirm to NBC News that Paul Pelosi is in the intensive care unit this morning recovering. Yesterday, his son was seen leaving the hospital and was asked how he was doing. He responded by saying, quote, that doctors are carefully rebuilding him. It comes as we learn more about the suspect, including some troubling postings found online.
This morning, the hammer-wielding intruder who allegedly broke into the Pelosi home through a back door, facing attempted homicide charges after striking 82-year-old Paul Pelosi in the head. The House Speaker has been spending time at the hospital with her husband, who's recovering from life-threatening injuries. It happened early Friday morning when 42-year-old David DePape allegedly broke into Pelosi's San Francisco home. Sources saying he shouted, "Where is Nancy? Where is..."